So we're going to kick off our study here of the bad habits section with the position from a game that was sent to me by a subscriber, and I've included the URL in the chapter itself, or rather in the study itself, for you to investigate. I'm saying that right now, but I sometimes remove those things just because people sort of like get a bit crazy, like they see the game and then they want to like contact the person or whatever. So this game is, as you can see from White's perspective, pretty promising for White. Maybe you can't see that from White's perspective and you need me to explain that to you, in which case absolutely no problem. Material is completely equal. Now, if you use what we learned in the evaluation chapter, you know that in this position, king safety is very much in White's favor. Very, very much. This king has absolutely nothing to worry about. White has a knight and a bishop, and Black has a rook and a pawn. That's the material imbalance. Black has 8 pawns, White has 7, so Black has an extra pawn, and Black has a rook for a knight and a bishop. Many, many times out of 10, like 8 times out of 10, I like to say, especially at intermediate level, 2 pieces are going to be better than a rook. So in this position, White plays the move rook g4. On its own, the move rook g4 is not a bad move. The idea is very obvious, actually. It's to go here and then checkmate. But things start to unravel very quickly for White. White at any point can not attack and can play the endgame. And if you just think about the queens getting traded, Black is going to have 2 rooks and White is going to have 3 pieces in an endgame versus 2 rooks. So as long as you keep those rooks at bay and slowly improve your position, life is going to be good. Now, if you get this knight to g5 by some miracle, like here, 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 that's a very decent way of playing. What Black wants is Black would like to slide over and probably trade queens so that they don't get checkmated. White doesn't really realize this. Black plays rook g8, and here you see in my notes in the study, I say something like knight c3, and just combining the threat of this with potentially a long-term plan of just queenside play or bringing your knight into the game in a bit more active way, hunting these pawns, is probably the way that White should have gone about this position. The problem is White gets massive tunnel vision here, which is a huge, huge, huge bad habit that folks have, and White just only goes for mate. White gets this far. This is still not the end of the world. But now it's time to realize you got nothing. You can't win this game outright. There is one remaining way to apply pressure over here, and it's again to get the knight to g5. So you could do that by this, this, this. You could do that like this, this, this. All right, those are the 2 ways. Those are the fastest ways anyway. But Black will always be able to defend. Like if Black has to play ugly defense, Black will. But a good player also realizes what opponent's resources exist in a position like this, and it's not just a one-way street. White doesn't realize that. White plays the move knight f4, which is a very lazy move. The move knight f4, in and of itself, does nothing. It doesn't create a threat. It doesn't even improve your position because you don't have another follow-up. Like the knight needed to be on that square. And Black also completely disregards, also completely disregards what Black is going to do. A good player here with White will pause for a moment and go, Black have any attacks here? Does Black have any forcing moves against me? Does Black have any checks or captures or attacks? Absolutely, Black goes here. And by accident, suddenly Black is winning material. Not only is Black winning material, Black is actually breaking out. Because the whole point of this position is that Black's rooks are very passive. They're stuck behind all the pawns. Now, Black is guaranteed to win material, and the rook is guaranteed a path down. That's really bad news for White. And it goes from bad to worse. So naturally, here with White, you need to save your rook. That's way more valuable than your knight right now. White does this. Okay, now, on its own, again, a one-mover. What is the threat? It's to take on g7. A player here with Black, who is inexperienced, will play this move and lose the game on the spot by checkmate. But that is not the way that you want to play chess. You don't want to win games by mistake, okay? You do, but like not all the time. It's nice to win games, but this is incorrect chess. Knight h5 is played. In this position, Black can already just play the move rook g6. So a big mistake that people make is they play one movers and they don't even think where the attacked piece is going to go. The move rook g6 here wins the game by accident for black because you just literally trap white's queen. The queen is completely trapped. Rook is hanging and the queen is trapped. There are some like tricks here to try to sacrifice and get out. None of them work. Instead of that, black goes here because black is slightly lower rated than maybe the natural move rook g6. Then you need to be at the level to play that move. But even the move queen f8 is great because you defend the rook, but the rook is still hanging here. White now gets in their own way completely, decides to get the rook out of the way, and now here comes rook g6, and we have this. So the attack has been thwarted, right? So both sides missing opportunities here. The best move for black would have been to play rook g6. Just the one mover. Again, just one move. Bad habits. This is what we're showing here. Black sees that the rook is hanging and decides, I have to protect it. That's also kind of a bad habit. Like you could move the attack piece. And this sort of continues. Like white kind of gets out without getting a lost position, totally lost position. And the bad habits sort of continue through the endgame. Just like a capture of pawns. And now here, white plays the move b4. It would have been much better to get the bishop in the game and slow play. White plays b4, a very lazy move. Not even anticipating for a second what black is going to do. In the game, black played f6, which also doesn't do anything. The move b4 can immediately be attacked. And that is the way I want you all to think about your chess games. It's not a one-move game. Rook b8 is just an attack on the pawn, and should the pawn be defended, there is a king on the opposite side, so the pawn can immediately be won. And if something like, I mean, I have e5 here in the study, but like, I mean, something like this is very good for black. It's now two rooks, it's now this. The advantage of the bishop and the knight versus the rook now significantly decreases. But black didn't play that move, and black played f6 in the game, and I just have a few more moves here. And I mean, you can play the whole game yourself, but I thought that from the very beginning here, this was like the perfect example of just one move threats and no long-term thinking. This in and of itself was not terrible, but running into the fork, blocking your own attack, getting your own queen trapped, while the opponent also doesn't realize it because the opponent realizes, oh, my rook is hanging, I have to move it, right? And then again, this moment here with just like absent-minded capturing and then just putting your pawn out to just basically perish, right? This is the type of stuff that we're going to try to learn not to do in this course and learn to punish if we see in this course and in this chapter in particular. A lot of one-move stuff. A lot of not thinking about, well, when I get to that position, is that good or bad for me? Should I even pursue that? Tunnel vision in terms of attacking, all on display here, and this is why this is the first study. As I've mentioned throughout this study, this is not terrible, but at this point, it's time to either play the right way or realize you're just hitting a brick wall here. You might have to come up with a different plan. Tunnel vision is a problem. It would have been better for white to back up, slow play the position, not allow these rooks to break out of their kind of locked position. And I mean, you even want to take it all the way back here. Maybe just don't rush with the pieces. Chip away at black's position with pawns first. You'll learn that when you attack, it's easier to get rid of the defenses with your least valuable pieces. When you bulldoze with rook and queen, it can be sort of a problem and very difficult to actually break through. So hopefully that was a good first study.